What's up guys, welcome back to Doki Doki Drawing. I'm Nihongo Gamer. If you've heard, there is some late breaking news with regard to this, the tweet that was put out by the official ClipStudio Paint account. Now this is the second time that they have made a response to the feedback from changes to their pricing plan, but we've talked about this in a previous video where they were saying that there's a new version of ClipStudio coming out. It will have features that version 1 won't have, and you won't be able to upgrade for free. You'll have to buy the new version, and also they're planning to have like a subscription service. Well, in response to all of that, they changed a number of things. They said there's going to be a perpetual license, which means if you buy version 2, you're not forced to use their subscription service. But then there were a number of things that still didn't quite sit well with the users of ClipStudio Paint. People were rightly confused, and so ClipStudio Paint has attempted, it seems, to clear a few things up by making 4 big changes, as they've stated here in the tweet. Now, they've made a short version of the changes in the tweet, but also if you click on the link provided here, you go to the official ClipStudio website and you get a much more detailed version of these changes. Number 1, purchases of version 1 made from January 1st, 2022 can be upgraded to version 2.0 for free. I believe the plan for version 2 was that you would just have to buy it separately, either through subscription or through the perpetual license. But it looks like in order to make everyone happy who has, just recently bought ClipStudio Paint, either on sale or just because they needed it for school or for work, they decided everyone who's bought it in the past 10 months and, for the rest of this year will be upgraded to version 2.0 for free. And you can see it right here on their official page. They've added this little bubble. It says buy version 1 now, and you still get version 2.0 for free. Going down to point number 2, they've stated that they will continue to support version 1 with stability updates past the release of version 3.0. It looks like they were planning on just dropping version 1 when version 3.0 came out, but I have no idea when the planned release of version 3.0 is. Is that going to be 2024? Is it going to be a new version of ClipStudio Paint every single year? I don't exactly know what the plan is for versions of ClipStudio Paint going forward, because currently the version we've had of ClipStudio Paint has been out for a decade. There hasn't been an actual version change of the software, but it looks very much to me like they're planning on just having a new version of ClipStudio every year, a bit like how Adobe creates like a new version of Photoshop every single year, but as long as you're subscribed, you always get the most recent version. If they are indeed planning to do a version update every single year, something like what they do with Adobe, then it's very possible that their subscription service might even be the more economical way to purchase this program. But I don't actually have information about that, so let's just go with what we've got at the moment. Point number 3, there will be a discounted upgrade from version 1 to version 2. For those people who bought the app for $25 on sale, or $50, or $200 for the EX version or whatever, those people will have a way to buy version 2.0 without paying the full price. So $20, usually even ClipStudio Paint on half price sales is usually about $25. The EX version, half price for $57. I think that's actually a bigger discount than half price usually for the EX version, so that seems quite reasonable for going to version 2.0. Again, the question is, what happens with version 3.0? Is that actually going to be 2024? Is it going to be as soon as that, or is it going to be much later? I don't actually know. Now, moving on to point number 4, it looks like they're making special terms just for people who are students and are part of a special program that they're creating here. So I don't know what the specific reasoning for making this program was, but I assume that in general, ClipStudio Paint being used by professionals, but also students, people who are already very much in debt and they're spending money even though they're already in debt. They're making sure that there's a way for those people to get access to the most recent version of ClipStudio Paint. That being said, even if you're a student, generally speaking, $20 is quite a reasonable asking price. Now, on the face of it, it actually seems pretty good so far. Even if you own ClipStudio Paint and you bought it like 8 years ago, you won't have to pay full price to get to version 2.0. There will be a discounted version of the software that you can buy, whether you're on the Pro version or the EX version, because you need the storyboard feature or the extra animation features. However, when you post big news like this, you often do get immediate reviews from the tweets below. And something that I noticed from the tweets was that a number of people weren't 100% convinced that this is actually a big change, and maybe they've just reworded a few things. And for me, I think the main difference that is, a little bit confusing from here is that they're talking a lot about version 3.0 already. Now, if we look at the previous announcements that they made in August, you actually scroll down here and they do talk about their plans for new versions of ClipStudio Paint. And even in here, they're already talking about version 4.0. So the idea is new versions of ClipStudio Paint will keep coming out. And in order to make sure that people are still paying, it looks like they don't want you to pay a huge amount of money, but they do want you to be constantly paying money, just like you constantly have to pay your Netflix or your Disney subscription so you can continue watching movies. ClipStudio Paint, just like most other companies these days, are trying to make sure that there's a steady flow of money coming in, even if it's not a huge amount of money. And so with version 1, they were planning on discontinuing stability updates when 3.0 releases. And then as you can see, when version 4.0 comes out, even version 2 would stop getting stability updates. But as you can see, the most efficient way of making sure you always have access to all the newest features and you constantly have a piece of software that doesn't have stability issues or just stops working on whatever version of Windows you've got is to use this, the active monthly usage plan. It's obvious that they want you to migrate over to a subscription-based plan because honestly, if the software is going to be updating really frequently, then probably it's just easier to be on a subscription anyway. The only reason you would choose a perpetual license is if you're absolutely convinced that you only need the very basic features, you don't need any of the new stuff, and you're also quite convinced that your OS is not going to update. You can actually just disconnect your computer from the internet, and generally speaking, your Windows system will be quite stable as long as you just never connect to the internet ever again. But let's face it, for 99.999% of the population, that's not very realistic. So what is a little bit concerning about the version 3.0 talk is that really, anything they're saying about free upgrades to version 2.0 might not be as great value as you think, because basically anything they were going to give you in version 2.0, which was going to be a paid upgrade, they might just change their mind and not put those features in version 2.0 and just put them in version 3.0 instead. And in that way, version 2.0 becomes a bit of a meaningless release. So just for an example, let's say that version 2.0 was going to have a ClipStudio AI image generation feature, right? Well, before you would have had to buy the full license for version 2.0, but now you can either get it for free or the heavily discounted price of $20 for the Pro version. But now that we're already talking about version 3.0, it's entirely possible that an AI image generation feature might actually be in version 3 and not even available in version 2.0, and the only way to get access to this new feature would be to use the update pass. So if you bought ClipStudio 5 years ago, you still have to pay $20 for the version 2.0 upgrade. And then even though you're finally in version 2.0, you still don't have the newest features because you have to buy the update pass, which is an extra $10 on top of that. And then you only get that feature for a year. And when that update pass finishes, you'll either have to buy another update pass or version 3.0 will already be out by that point, depending on how quickly they're planning on releasing version 3.0. And you can be sure that version 3.0 won't be a free upgrade because obviously if they give everyone a free upgrade every year, then what would be the point of having a subscription service? And what's kind of strange about version 2 is that you actually don't have all the new features that will happen in all of version 2. You'll have all the features available in version 2.0, but if maybe 1 month later or 2 months later you come out with a version 2.1 or 2.2 or 2.3, all of those features require you to have an update pass. So basically, the discounted price of $20 to get to version 2.0 only gets you to the beginning of version 2.0, but not for the 12 months after that. And remember, if you're on the EX version, you've already paid $57 to upgrade just to version 2.0, but you don't actually have all the features for the next following year. You need to pay another $29 for the 12-month pass. So listen, it does sound kind of confusing, and I think there's quite a few people out there quite skeptical about these announcements that are being made because they think, actually, this doesn't really change anything. But the long and the short of it is, if you buy a perpetual license, you can use the software, and I think it's unlikely that the software is just going to completely stop working that quickly. So it's like, it's going to be the same ClipStudio that you've had for a really long time, but you're just not getting constant updates for free. If you want a constantly updated piece of software which is guaranteed to be stable on Windows and whatever operating system that you're using, you're gonna have to pay money. Either you're gonna buy a perpetual license, which is like, I don't know, $57 for the EX version and another $30 for 1 year of updates, or you can just pay for the subscription and not think about anything because all the updates, the main feature updates and the stability updates are all included. I think it's easy to get a little pessimistic about these things, but basically it's good that ClipStudio is addressing people's concerns and at least trying to find a way to make people happy. They could have just said, look, we're changing our pricing model, deal with it. But from what I've seen of ClipStudio over the years and from these changes that they're trying to make, it looks like they just want to stay afloat. They need some money coming in for their software, which essentially is like buying a spoon. You get a spoon and it does a really good job of feeding you cereal, but you never really need to upgrade a spoon. And honestly, ClipStudio Paint, I bought it like 10 years ago, and it's had free updates over and over and over again. And even if it didn't get free updates, ClipStudio Paint, the one that I bought like 10 years ago, it was already quite a highly well-featured piece of software. And the most important thing is if you don't like the pricing because it's too expensive, or if you just don't like the pricing system in principle because why are they asking for more money, then you don't even have to use ClipStudio Paint. There are quite a few competitors out there like Krita, Medibang Paint, Procreate, all sorts of stuff on the iOS ecosystem. There's so many apps that you can use out there. And ClipStudio Paint does not have such an iron grip on the industry that everyone is going to be forced to using their software. Like there's quite a lot of other software out there you can use for animation or drawing. So if they're going to charge a little extra money or they're going to have a subscription service so that they can stay afloat, then honestly, to me, that's better than ClipStudio Paint just going bust and then not being able to update their software at all. Because in that situation, we'd be forced to use other software. But what do you think about these 4 big changes? Are they big enough changes enough that you're now happy to go up to version 2.0 and embrace the new subscription service or the cheaper discounted upgrade price or the free upgrade that you get if you bought it anytime after the 1st of January in 2022? Or do you think that they've just rephrased everything and basically everything is exactly the same? Nothing has changed. You still have to pay for the new software. You still have to pay for the update pass. And then even if you pay for the update pass, a new version is going to come out and you're going to have to buy that again. Let us know in the comment section below because we really just want to know what software it is that the main viewership are using so that we can make sure that the videos reflect, the actual software that people are gonna end up using at home. Anyway, that's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to Doki Doki Drawing, and we'll see you next time.